Yeah. Came out the portal, immortal into a human body. Wow. I've been existing way before the earth had Anunnakis. Intergalactical battles, intergalactical travels, infinitely going through stars. The universe will unravel all of its secrets. Peep it, I'm starting to leak it. Time for truth is coming. 100, it's time to seek it. Expanding my perception through the spectrum of light. I'm going in with spectrum and the shit's out of sight. We indigo children, yeah, we building frequencies through the ceiling. Penetrating through reality, a marvelous feeling. Regardless, we're healing these humans that be claiming we demonic. The resonance goes over their heads, we super cosmic. The logic is ignorance mixed with fear in your thinking. My pineal gland is flooded, son, that shit don't be blinking. Sinking into your subconscious like a song with no words. The way I come up with these symbols of letters is absurd. Hey yo, my rhymes are like angelic beings. The shit is freeing, so pure that if you were born blind, I'll have you seeing. Breathing in a multi-dimensional light so captivating. Double helix is nonsense, so what I'm activating, feel the power from within, seeping right through my skin. From the earth into my feet as it goes up to my chin. It got me grinning, rotation like spirals, my music spinning. I told you that I don't be playing, still I'm always winning. Fibonacci to the haters, curve them right to the side. They don't understand the energy, it comes from inside. So inside is what I master, used to be a disaster. Now I'm gladly elevating to a whole new chapter. Yeah, I'm giving birth to a whole new style. I incarnated through New York, yeah, I rep Long Isle. Don't get it twisted though, I'm truly repping this earth. I came to free all these humans and show you all what you're worth. Immortal. Yeah, raising your frequencies one soul at a time. As I pass this mic to my boy Spectrum, yo Spectrum, light that up, kid.
They tried to tell me I'm mortal, I told them I was immortal. They asked me what makes me different, I asked them what makes you normal. I just followed my morals and I unfollowed the formal. Hopped on a track with crews, now we straight cruising through portals. I download the Metatron, I'm reversing it till I'm dead and gone. If you think I'm dope, then you said it wrong. Not trying to flex, but I'm hella strong. Mine did things you never seen. When I say mine, you know what I mean. I'm the most when I'm in my mode, and y'all average is like the mean. I really didn't mean to go intervene. I'm the middleman chilling in between. You should do the math, we ain't keeping score. But I just hit a 3.14. I cook it up, make it look easy as pie. I'm moving in silence and seeing the sign. I am the G. If you remove me, all you gon' see is your sins. This is a big game of sins. The simulation is breaking again. I'm taking control, creating my soul. And if the truth fits, I'm breaking it in. Breaking it. All I really know is that I'll never know. I've been here for forever, don't know when to go. I think that indicates that I'm an indigo. In that case, I'm in the go. Green light, my heart, chakra booming. Solar plexus, Lexus zooming. You assuming that I'm human. I'm just being what you doing. I've been teaching teachers frequently. It's apparent I'm a parent when it comes to raising frequencies. The way I'm living life, I haven't rest in peace recently. Immortal with my technique, but my ego dying easily. Death is teasing me by leaving me with DMT. Now it seems to me that everything I see is seeing me. Life is just an infinite circle with a twist. I used to wanna be like them, now they do not exist.
Immortal.
Greetings, Ken. Great dawning in Lakesh Alakim. Welcome to another episode, another session of Aligning with the Evolving Cycles of Time, Knowledge, and Meditation session. And I'm your host, Akil Sharif, the White Crystal Mirror, Ken number 38. And I dedicate in order to reflect, universalizing order. I seal the matrix of endlessness with the crystal tone of cooperation, and I am guided by the power of heart. Ashe, Ashe, and Asheo. So you will also hear from Moon Goddess Ambrosia, our fifth force oracle, who's going to give us that oracle reading of evolution. And of course, High Priestess Imakaru Amen is going to give us the breakdown of Kin number 193, so we can understand how to activate that energy within us and move through it to create our day or our plasma in that way. And we're going to be exploring have you awakened your abundance? Looking forward to that, definitely. And this is the year of the yellow resonant seed. We'll get into these cycles as we go along in this session. I'm gonna go ahead and play the prayer of the 7 galactic directions, and I'll be right back.
From the east, house of light, may wisdom dawn in us, so we may see all things in clarity. From the north, house of night, may wisdom ripen in us, so we may see all from within. From the west, house of transformation, may wisdom be transformed into right action, so we may do what must be done. From the south, house of the eternal sun, may right action reap the harvest, so we may enjoy the fruits of planetary being. From above, house of heaven, where star people and ancestors gather, may their blessings come to us now. From below, house of earth, may the heartbeat of her crystal core bless us with harmonies to end all war. From the center, galactic source, which is everywhere at once, may everything be known as the light of mutual love. Ayum Hunabku Evam Maya, E Maho. Ayum, Hunab Ku, Evam Maya, E Maho. Ayum, Hunab Ku, Evam Maya, E Maho.
All right, gratitude to the prayer of the seven galactic directions, putting everything in vibrational alignment. Ashe, Ashe, and Asheo. And we are Mimic, Melanated Immortals, making evolutionary changes. Our mission statement is to shift the global consciousness of the melanin-dominant population and establish an everlasting legacy of high-frequency beings, immortal health, and immortal wealth through the application and remembrance of cosmic knowledge. I'm going to read that 2 more times so that we can lock it into our heart and our minds. Our mission is to shift the global consciousness of the melanin-dominant population and establish an everlasting legacy of high-frequency beings, immortal health, and immortal wealth through the application and remembrance of cosmic knowledge. Our mission is to shift the global consciousness of the melanin-dominant population and establish an everlasting legacy of high-frequency beings, immortal health, and immortal wealth through the application and remembrance of cosmic knowledge. Ashe, Ashe, and Asheo. And this is the melanin frequency vigil, which has been a frequency that's been transmitting since the fall equinox of 2019. And in this session here, we go through 52 frequencies, one frequency every week or every heptad that is going to raise the frequency, the consciousness of the melanin dominant population. And we're doing some pretty amazing things with this now, differently from what was going on previously. High Priestess has us doing some very interactive things to create some change. You definitely want to come and check this out if you have not experienced this, and if you have, you want to continue to come. And we're in the year of divine unity. And the affirmation for this year reads, we embody our natural love frequency, living as one in divine unity on earth. We embody our natural love frequency, living as one in divine unity on earth. We embody our natural love frequency, living as one in divine unity on earth. Ashe, Ashe, and Asheo. And you can check these sessions out every Sunday at 6 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. And if you want to get more information about them, you can go to www.melaninfrequency.org. And this is our Tzolk'in 260 spin sacred cycle calendar. And what we have is the 20 archetypes and the 13 tones. And this is like energy and consciousness and energy, that come together and they make the 260 expressions of the creator, and these 260 expressions of the creator are, they're who we are. They're naturally in us. But when we tap into these every day, every plasma, it awakens it. It taps, it goes deeper, it helps us to go deeper into our cosmic memory, and as we go through these, we go through our lives, experiences, when we put these, when we keep these frequencies in focus, it takes us, it raises our consciousness so that we can have better outcomes. We can experience our challenges. We can experience the things that we're working to accomplish in a more evolved manner. And so the 260 days it corresponds to like 9 months, roughly 9 months, the time that it takes, from conception to incarnation. And so this is a reminder of the spirit, the energy that we were before coming here, and the process that we had to get here, just reminding us of who we are. And so whatever kin you land on, or that you incarnate on, that is your galactic signature. And essentially it explains your purpose. It explains, gives you an understanding of who you are. And you can see the green squares that represent the galactic activation portals. And the thing that makes those unique is they're like amplified energy on those particular plasmas, and the first half represents, the past, and what we are taking, the good we're taking from the past so that we can bring it into the future. That the other half on the right side is our future portals, and they, that's how we get into what we're evolving into. And so when we go through this 260 spin, from kin 1 to kin 260, you should be a completely different, more evolved individual to move into the next cycle and do the same exact thing. And this is our wave spell, the wave spell that we're currently in, which is just a cycle that's within the cycle of the Tzolk'in, but this cycle here is, what they call a creation cycle, and I mention quite often that this, it's really, really powerful because, there's really a whole science behind it about how you can, experience time travel, and how you can experience taking your idea and manifesting it into, the 3D realm. Right now, we like you to focus on how this here is the building blocks for this frequency of abundance, and how we tap into our dream intuition to create that abundance. Each one of these kin add to that frequency. And to begin with, we have kin 183, that's the blue magnetic knight. Then kin 184, the yellow lunar seed. Kin 185, the red electric serpent. Then kin 186, the white self-existing world bridger. Kin 187, the blue overtone hand. Kin 188, the yellow rhythmic star. Kin 189, the red resonant moon. Kin 190, the white galactic dog. Kin 192, the yellow planetary human. And where we are today, kin 193, the red spectral skywalker. And then we'll go to kin 194, the white crystal wizard. And then kin 195, the blue cosmic eagle. And this is the kin 193, the red spectral skywalker. Again, this is the kin that we're going to be communicating with, getting counsel from, and as we communicate with this kin, it's going to communicate back to us through intuition. And it reads, I dissolve in order to explore, releasing wakefulness. I seal the output of space with the spectral tone of liberation, and I am guided by my own power doubled. I dissolve in order to explore, releasing wakefulness. I seal the output of space with the spectral tone of liberation, and I am guided by my own power doubled. One more time, lock it in. I dissolve in order to explore, releasing wakefulness. I seal the output of space with the spectral tone of liberation, and I am guided by my own power doubled. Ashe, Ashe, and Asheo. And this is the 13 moon calendar, or the synchrometer, when you add all of the other elements, the Tzolk'in calendar and the Gregorian calendar attached to it. What I'd like to keep in mind with this, this is on natural time, and our Gregorian calendar, that Gregorian calendar is artificial time, 260, the 1260, 1260, that's the 12-month, 60-minute clock, and in that frequency, they say time is money, and I notice, I'll say this, it's been brought to my attention recently how, in my pursuit of trying to accomplish something, I'll say, okay, I got to schedule all this stuff in through the day, and I have, something mapped out for each hour. And in the process of working to accomplish that, if everything doesn't go right, you might tend to start stressing out. You might tend to start getting a little uneasy about not getting these things done on the list. But that's the artificial time. That's the artificial way to look at it, as opposed to moving in the natural frequency, which is gonna have you harmonize with the energy. Okay, and so this particular moon is the electric deer moon. It's the third moon, and every moon asks a question. This one's asking you, how can I best serve? This is a completely different than the frequency of October, right? And there's no question to be asked in October, or maybe what day you got to pay your bills on or something like that. But this one right here is giving you something more honorable to strive for. How can I best serve? This is the theme for this moon. And every moon has 7 radio plasmas and 7 plasmas, they correspond to the day of the week. We like to remember that, to keep the plasma in mind, because the plasma has purpose, it has power, it has, it's connecting us to the natural energy that's that we're flowing through, the cosmic energy. And each radio plasma is connected to a chakra and activates an area in your mind, in your brain, right? So Dali is associated with your crown chakra, Silio, your root chakra, Gamma, your third eye, Kali, your sacral chakra, Alpha, your throat chakra, Limi, your solar plexus, and Silio, which is where we are today, your heart chakra. And each moon has 28 days, which corresponds with the time that it takes for the moon to evolve around the earth, right? To revolve around the earth. And it has 4 heptads, which correspond with, weeks. And each heptad has a theme of its own. It has a particular energy that you tap into. So again, you ask the question, you tap into your kin, you tap into the kin of the plasma, asking it questions, seeking guidance, and these answers come, and that's where the knowledge initiates view. This knowledge gives you a new scope of, it shows you something you haven't seen before. You know what I'm saying? So you can move into a new area, kind of corresponds with the Skywalker where we're at today, exploring wakefulness, right? That's the first heptad. And then we move to the second heptad. And the second heptad is where you can take that knowledge and you get to dig a little bit deeper for whatever it is that you're accomplishing. You can go a little bit further beyond where it was that you were before. That's where we're refining. That's where humility refines the meditation, where we are removing whatever lower energy or egoic aspect might be preventing you from accomplishing whatever it is you might be accomplishing. And then we move to the blue heptad, and that's where patience transforms conduct, right? Yep. So that's where we just slow things down. We slow things down and see exactly how we need to move with this new knowledge that we've gained. And then we move to the yellow heptad after we've transformed, then the outcome is the completion of whatever it was we were accomplishing. That's where the power ripens the fruit. And so this is where we're tapping into natural time, and we're being guided and being given some insights to remember our whole self. That's the difference between this calendar and the Gregorian calendar. The prophet. This is the reading for the Skywalker, the 13th archetype. And it reads, I am the prophet, coded by the red Skywalker. 13 is my number. The wave spell of creation, many times in many worlds have I known. For I am the agent of universal time, exploring space with all abiding wakefulness. I am the colonizer of lost worlds, the galactic navigator of time. The all-seeing eye of the fifth force anoints my brow. In my right hand, I hold the book of the law of time, a gift from the star people. In my left hand, I hold the galactic compass, the Syrian wheel, the compendium of the prophetic way. Prophecy is natural law, a function of time, a function of the time. My shirt bears the two sacred numbers, 13 and 20, crossing the barriers of time and space. I am crowned by the sign of the infinite cycles of time. To know me is to know the prophecy of time within the promise of the coming dawn. Ashe, Ashe, and Asheo. We're going to see all about how that works once High Priestess gets up and breaks down this archetype. All right, I'm gonna play y'all some announcements, and again, I'll be right back. All right, all right. We're back. We are back. All right, and I'm gonna bring up our fifth force oracle reader, Moon Goddess Ambrosia. Or she's gonna give us that oracle reading of evolution. You know, she's gonna show y'all how to use this oracle so that you can go from the time is money paradigm to what the 1320 shows us, and that's time is art. So, and actually, she's got a recording for us, but it's gonna be just as good as if she was live, right? So I'm gonna bring her up right now.
I am Kin 181, the Rare Crystal Dragon, and I dedicate in order to nurture, universalizing being. I seal the input of birth with the crystal tone of cooperation. I am guided by the power of space. Ashe, Ashe, and Ashe Yo. And give thanks to the Aligning with the Cycles platform. Shout out to Mimic and Synchronistic Human, School of Enlightenment, and Moon Goddess and the Healing Arts. I'm thankful to be a part of these communities as I share my divine blessings and gifts as a oracle reader and then some. And so we're going to jump right into the reading for this plasma by introducing and inviting you all to the mindset of a synchronaut. I like to share this piece as a perspective for understanding how the cosmic oracle readings work. And so the mindset of the synchronaut is based on us seeing ourselves as living expressions of divine synergy in motion. So the Destiny Oracle helps us to align ourselves with the fact that we are multidimensional, which as we synergize these energies, we get to live in the full expression of our divinity, as well as remembering our divine purpose on earth to consciously create and fulfill our soul's mission in all spaces of time. So this means that the more that we tap into our awareness that we are this divine synergy in motion, it helps us to remember our divine purpose, what we came here to do, and to be able to operate in this frequency to create and fulfill our mission, to share our art and the things that we're creating in our experiences through our purpose. And so that is the mindset that I invite you all to look at it from. Basically, it's also seeing yourself as an astronaut or I want to say the driver of your physical vessel, and you're navigating through the cycles, the natural cycles of time. And so with that, I have put together the Synchronauts navigation map, which can be used to look at the different cycles that we are evolving through. So what I have presented here just reflects the three kins of the plasma. Yesterday plasma kin 192, today's plasma kin, which is kin 193, and then tomorrow's kin, which is kin 194. Also, I have the moon that we're in, the heptad, as well as the plasma information that we're connecting with as well. And so I know that prior to me coming on to share the Cosmic Oracle reading, a lot of this information was reviewed and shared with you all to let you know where we currently are in the cycle. And so the main thing that I do want to point out is that this heptad that we've been evolving through, the white heptad, is helping us to ripen the knowledge that we have accumulated throughout this moon so far and be able to meditate on it and look at different ways that we could refine the way that we are operating. And so specifically in this heptad, it's been encouraging us to purify ourselves so that we can send out pure love frequencies and to really embody pure love through us commanding the healing and allowing this healing to evolve us into being more present and wakeful within our being and expressing that in the different spaces that we are exploring or that we find ourselves in. And so that's the main thing that I wanted to point out or add to um, piecing in where we are within this heptad. And so just keep that in mind that on this plasma, we get the opportunity to really be present in all that we are. And the cosmic oracle reading will show us more insights as to how to really operate and flow through that process. And so, as we looked at the synchronized navigation map, you also notice that I have the Destiny Oracle for those 3 plasmas. And so I have mentioned that the Destiny Kin Oracle provides us with a 5th dimensional template so that we can sustain our cosmic synergy or our divine synergy as multidimensional beings. And so when we're looking at the Oracle board, there are the 20 archetypes within the Oracle board that is being reflected. So it shows us with what the energy of the emotional body is, the mental body, the physical body, as well as the spirit guide for that particular kin. And so each of the 20 archetypes all share 4 of those basic elements on the template. And so one thing that I want to mention and point out is that also when you're looking at the Oracle board, the blank box above is in correspondence to what the spirit guide position is. So those are blank depending on the galactic tone of that archetype. And so, for example, being that we are on the red spectral Skywalker, the spirit guide is also the red spectral Skywalker. And so it will vary depending on, the galactic tone of the different red Skywalkers as to what archetype will be in that position. And so I just wanted to point out where the template is for the red Skywalker. As you can see, all the red Skywalkers will have the white world bridger in the physical body, which holds the position of supporting us holding the focus as the Skywalker. In the emotional body, we have the yellow star, which is it's like the fuel for us. So like that's the gas in our car. I did want to mention that the physical kin is like the car that we're in, and the kin in the center is the driver or the one that's navigating or holding the focus. So on the left, we have the blue knight. Excuse me. On the left, we have the blue knight as the mental body, which helps us to overcome different challenges, to strengthen our mindset. And as we go through the different obstacles that we may encounter along our journey. And the spirit guide in the above position is like the GPS for us that helps us to direct ourselves in our focus. So as you look at it from the mindset of a synchronized, definitely look at it from the standpoint of the energy that you embody is the driver, and the consciousness that you embody as the driver, so that you can navigate through your experience. And you will understand more of that as I get into the oracle reading. So the next thing I want to talk about is looking at the significance of the different words within the galactic signature. So we are on Kin 193, the red spectral skywalker. The first word, the color in the beginning, that is the color code that corresponds to the pattern that's similar to the different heptads. So the red talks about the knowledge that initiates view. So as we come into new knowledge, it activates us to see things from a different perspective. That is what the red symbolizes. And then the Skywalker is the solar seal. So the whole solar seal is called the red Skywalker. And the archetype that relates to it is called the prophet. And so this is the creative power of space that explores wakefulness. So as we explore the different spaces around us, or, as we explore different things, we come into new knowledge that helps to shift our perspective on our experience. And so that is the creative power that the red Skywalker brings. It also helps us to, have space consciousness and be just aware of the energy that's moving about the different spaces that we're in. And that's how we can see different patterns and cycles and tap into the prophetic aspect of the red Skywalker. And so the word in the center, that will let you know what the galactic tone is. I like to look at the galactic tone as the vibration that the archetype moves in, or the vibration of the creative power. So the spectral tone is, it relates to being able to dissolve in liberation. So it's just like when you're mixing sugar into water, like it becomes one mixture. So it's saying like we have to become one, or it's encouraging us to become one with the liberation that we are infusing into the spaces. And therefore, we're able to release ourselves, release our wakefulness in those spaces. And so that is the breakdown for the red spectral Skywalker. One more thing that I want to mention about the wakefulness. My favorite way of explaining what wakefulness is like being fully present and aware that you are in a moving vessel. So it's just like when you're laying there, or you're just sitting there with your eyes closed and you're paying attention to your inner, it's like the inner awareness, the inner presence, and just being tapped into the consciousness within you. Being able to recognize that you are awake. You know what I'm saying? You're not like in a daze or anything. You're not like spaced out, like you're fully present in all that you are and experiencing. And so the red spectral Skywalker is again part of the blue night wave spell. And so just to tie this all in, I have did a remix to the affirmation to include the wave spell attributes. And so it reads, I dissolve my abundance in order to explore. That means that we're becoming one with the fact that we are divinely abundant, and allowing that awareness, or that being fully present in that knowing, in order to explore the different spaces, that awakens and feeds into us being able to create our vision by releasing that presence and being wakeful in that knowing. And so the next line says, I seal my express output of space. So as you meditate even on those first two lines, that's helping you to lock in on how you want to express your divine abundance through your wakefulness in all of the spaces that you're in. And so we do that with the spectral tone of liberation. So again, that's us liberating the wakefulness that we are divinely abundant. And the very last line says, I am guided by my own power of space. doubled. And I just put times 2. So that just also lets you know that we are also being guided by the red spectral skywalker as well. So by us holding in onto that focus, there are different ways that we can connect with this, where I have came up with 2 questions to help us to really start getting into the mindset of this focus. So the first question that I have is, are you creating space for yourself to practice being fully present? So I feel like the best way to get into that practice is when you're at home, with yourself, and, you free up space and time for you to really just sit there and be present, to be tapped in to how you're feeling, what you're thinking, and, being aware of your body and things like that. And so I asked that question, are you creating space for yourself to practice this? And so this Destiny Oracle that we'll be getting into can show you how to practice that if you are looking into different ways to improve doing that for yourself. The second question that I have is, how can you liberate your presence or being present in the opportunities that's helping you to create your vision? So by practicing being present, when you're in different opportunities or when you come into different opportunities to create your vision, how can you liberate being fully present in that moment to actually create it, to explore it? Because sometimes I feel like this question is a big one to look at, because sometimes when we are invited to different opportunities, sometimes we can be overthinking, or we're not being fully present in the moment to really get into the creative power that we are or that we embody. So this question helps us to look at how can we be more present in those opportunities so that we can create that vision. And so as you think on those questions, I do want to share a one-line affirmation to help us to hold the focus, which states, I am releasing my wakefulness to explore and liberate the divine abundance of my vision. We are releasing our wakefulness to explore and liberate the divine abundance of our vision. Ashe, Ashe, and Ashe-yo. And so now we're going to get into the cosmic oracle reading so that we can see how we can practice being more present, and how we can liberate that presence or being present in those opportunities. And so the central frequency that we're tapping into or focusing on today is dissolving the liberation. So like becoming one with being present so that we can release being present, so that we can carry out the mission of this wave spell. So that is the focus in the center. I've already mentioned that we're also being guided by the red spectral skywalker. So as we continue to hold the focus of exploring the spaces that we're in and being fully present in those spaces, that is the direction that we want to move in and stay mindful of as we go throughout this plasma. I like to jump down to the emotional body, because that's like the gas in our car that's motivating us to stay focused. And so for that position, we have the yellow electric star. And this is tied to the motivation, like what's motivating us to explore these different spaces. So one thing that can motivate us is by looking at the art that we want to create. Like, what is it that we want to create, and actually bonding with that and finding ways to be more elegant in the way that we express ourselves in different spaces. So like, how can you be elegant in being present? How can you be graceful in being present? So one thing personally for myself that I've noticed is taking breaths and breathing, being able to regulate like how passionate I may be about something and breathing as I express myself. So look at what can help you to be more elegant in the way that you're creating and being present in your experience, and really bond with the art of it. Like, what is the practice of it? That's one thing I found to be dope, is that art is the practice of something, right? So get into the practice of it. Over on the left side, this again is the mental body, which helps us to overcome different challenges. So the challenge that we are, or that the Destiny Oracle is showing us that can be a challenge, is being tapped into our abundance and releasing our intuition. One thing I appreciate about the Blue Knights is that it reminds me of that quote, like, if you can dream it, you can create it. So it's like, okay, if you allow yourself to get into the dream state of how you see yourself. One second, I was having a lot of downloads coming in. One moment. Okay, so let me bring it back to one of the questions. Like, how can you create space for yourself and practice being fully present? One thing that can show you how present you are is it'll awaken you to more dreams. Like, you'll start daydreaming while still being physically there in the moment, right? So as you allow yourself to dream, that can help you to see or be connected to your intuition as well, just by being present in that moment. And then when it comes to being present in different opportunities, it's like, as you're sitting and experiencing the opportunity, allow your intuition to show you what you can create in those moments. Like, what do you want to bring into that experience to really put your presence into the collective vision that you may be engaging with or collaborating with others on, if that makes sense. So depending on, what space you may be in, whether you're at home by yourself or you're sharing space with other people, that can show up in different ways for you, as far as like how your intuition may show up. And last but not least, on the right side, this is the position of the physical body, which is there to support everything, that all the energy that has been generated in those other areas that we just talked about. So you can physically create it, or physically reflect on it around you in the different spaces and things like that. And so we have the white spectral world bridger, which is there to support us. And it says that, or the energy focuses on equalizing depth. So that's saying that, okay, what can I let go of? Like, how can I really tap into the fact that I am, or that we are immortal beings, and continue to be that, and let go of different things that may not be aligned to what we want to create in the spaces that we are focusing on creating. I feel like I said that kind of weird, but may that you are still flowing with me. And so as we sit in that reflection of, looking at what we can let go of, so that we can bring in new opportunities, that is what the white spectral world bridger is showing us. Is like, In order to create something new in a space, we have to make space for the newness to come in. And so when we make that space, we're able to release and put out that opportunity there. So one thing that I would say here is like, especially like if it comes to you creating space for yourself, you may have to let go of something. So like say that, you typically have a busy schedule, and like there are spaces in time to create space. Okay, wait, let me there are spaces within your day that you can make time for yourself. So as you surrender to that space, then you now have the opportunity to actually bask in practicing being fully present with yourself. Similar to when it comes to liberating or sharing your presence in different opportunities. You also got to recognize moments that, you may have to be quiet for a moment until you get that space and time to really reflect and show yourself. And so even in those moments, just being fully present enough to be aware of like the different moments where you get the opportunity to really show up in all that you are in that moment. And so collectively, when we put all of this energy together, we can now tap into the harvest of it and really model the intuition that we receive just by being fully present. And through that, we get to harmonize our divine intelligence and really reflect that as elegant art and be fearless in our expression of it. And so with that, that is the Cosmic Oracle reading for us on this plasma. And so just a quick reminder before we close out of our main focus, which is we are releasing our wakefulness to explore and liberate the divine abundance of our vision. And so with that, I'll end off this reading by sending you all my love, my gratitude, and may that you enjoy your creation in every single moment of now. I highly encourage you to practice being present today. And so with that, in Lakesh Alakin, I shall talk to y'all later. Stay peace.
All right. That was great. It resonated with me definitely. Like I say, being able to not be so focused on the getting everything done in the day, but maybe focusing on the love of what it is I'm doing. So Ashe, thank you, Fit Force Oracle, for that. And y'all know what time it is. I have so much respect for High Priestess. Since I came in, and she mentions this sometimes in her, when she's giving the lectures, just when you see your teacher evolve, it's inspiring. I've definitely experienced High Priestess like go from one place to the next, and she evolves in the way that she delivers, and I'm grateful to be able to learn and tap into my remembrance through her. So with that, I am going to bring her to the stage, and I yield the mic.
The high priestess, the mimic who pulled me in. The high priestess, the mimic who pulled me in. It's time we come together to raise our consciousness. Amen. The high priestess, the mimic who pulled me in. Amen. Amen. The high priestess, the mimic who pulled me in. Amen. It's time we come together to raise our consciousness.
All right. Greetings. Am I being heard? I think I am, right? Am I being heard? Am I being heard? Okay. All right. All right. So great dawning, everyone. Welcome, welcome. Very excited, right? Still excited. I was telling Brother Akil this dawning that I still wake up. Has it been 3 heptads since the convergence? I wake up and I still have the chanting in my ear. There's one of the chants is always in my ear when I wake up, and you know, we noticed something. We noticed something about those chants. I've been talking to Sister Kaswana and Priestess Habibla, and what we noticed is that there's one chant that we had 3 of them, right? And there's one that kind of energizes you. There's another one that kind of you go into a trance, you know, or whatever. But we're gonna package them and put them in a probably put them in a motivational temple so you guys so we can share with you as well. So yeah, y'all. Okay, I'm excited. So give thanks, Kim 138. I said 138. 38, Brother Akil. I was mixing 138. I was mixing 181 and 38. Okay, got it. Anyway, let me slow down, right? It's a lot going on. So give thanks, Brother Akil, for being our host and giving us the basics, reminding us of where we are in the 13 moon cycle, and really being able to explain it very succinctly, so that, you know, we can get it right. As he always says, you know, every time we are on one of these archetypes, they are divine counselors. And so there's a council each and every plasma. So you can have a meeting every day, a board meeting with your archetype, right? And go into council, right? Been there, done that. I'm not just saying it as a philosophy. I've done it, you know, and practiced it for several years, right? Also, big shout out to Moon Goddess Ambrosia, the 5th Force Oracle, for that oracle reading. I love it. So we really appreciate her being so dedicated, even though she's not able to be here in person. She always takes the time to record her oracle reading and send it in for us so we can still have it. All right. So yes. So and give thanks, Brother Akil. I really appreciate what you said about seeing me evolve. That's great. That, you know, sometimes, you know, we don't get the feedback when we're in these roles, and I do appreciate that. That is that's a means I'm doing my job, right? I can't talk about it unless I can be about it, right? So I appreciate you. All right. So man, where are we? Okay. So we in exciting times. In exciting times, right? That's where we are. So we're coming in, we're finishing up this wave spell of abundance. And it is a wave spell that transforms. So one of the ways that we can talk about this is that abundance transforms evolution. And why am I saying that? Right? In this cycle, right? And I'm not going to go through this in detail, but this is how we decided to break down the Zocan calendar, which is right here on your right side. Well, really, technically, the real one is on the left side. The original one is right here on the left in this circle, right? And on the right side, this is a model of that in a 2-dimensional format, so that the brains that we are using now, right, can comprehend it, because we've been trained two-dimensionally, believe it or not, right? And so sometimes in order to really trigger the multi-dimensional levels of who we truly are, you have to put it in a two-dimensional format, and then we say, oh, okay, and then we go into all these dimensions, right? So but so then we, further we've refined this model and put it into these cycles, these 5 cycles. The first one being the new birth, the new being, right? The second one exploring the prophecy. The third one being in attunement with your force of life and going through all of the portals, the past and the future. Right? Being able to see that, so that once you are tuned your frequency, then now you're ready, you're prepared. Everything is already set up and ready for you to go through this evolutionary cycle, which is the one that we're in now. Right? And let me show you what that looks like, right? And these are the 4 wave spells that are in this evolutionary cycle. The first one was the red earth. The red earth is walking evolution, right? Another way to talk about it is the spirit of evolution, right? And, you got to look more into the destiny cross to understand why I said that. I said that because the physical body of the red earth is the wind, which is spirit, right? So we go through evolution. And if you think about evolution, we're not talking about adaptation, right? We're talking about taking the most efficient, we're talking about pulling in all efficiencies, the most efficient ways, and then taking it to the next level, making it better. Not having to go back and adapt to something else. Evolution is not adaptation. It's the being at the highest efficiency and proficiencies, right? So this is the cycle that we're in. We're becoming more efficient, more proficient in what? In being a living goddess, a living God on earth, a living divine being, a living expression of the creator, right? The cosmic walking. We're being more efficient. And so these 4 wave spells are showing us exactly how that works, right? How that looks. We get to slow it down. So we went through this evolutionary cycle with the earth wave spell, and then we refined it by our true love and loyalty, right? Looking at what's truly in our hearts. And that being in that heart space, that I'm telling you, that is, and I know, I'm not saying that as if nobody else knows, right? But being in that heart space really allows you to connect more and further than you ever have been before. And you become loyal to it, right? It allows you to be loyal to your true self, who you really are. And you will find that you don't have to think as much. You don't have to rely on those brain signals as much when you're truly in that heart space. And it's a practice and a remembrance, right? It's not something that happens overnight. However, if you make a determination right now, today, and say that you're going to be and operate in that heart space, and you keep it up, right? 3 moons from now, 6 moons from now, a year from now, you're going to be a completely different person. Right? Then we taken that heart space, and then we went through this trance. We're going through it. We're almost done here with this wave spell, that we are now taking all of that love and that loyalty and the truth. Right? We said that white dog wave spell is like the weighing of the heart, the scales being on the scales of Ma'at. Right? And so now we are being able to take this evolution that has been refined by the truth in our hearts and transform it into natural abundance. Right? And what did we say about natural abundance? Again, I say this all the time. You do not have to believe in something or someone. One of the ways that I've been able to measure perspectives is that I decided I'm either going to look outside, I'm going to look in the body, I'm going to look in the cosmos. That's how I'm going to measure perspectives. Every time I'm up here, I'm giving a perspective. I may state a fact, right? The trees are green, right? All right. But then my perspective is, okay, why trees are greens? You see what I'm saying? That's a perspective. Well, trees are green because, it's a scientific fact that we have chlorophyll and this, that, and other. But then I can just go into all these different things. It's still a perspective, right? So with this, let me go. I'm gonna go out because I'm going off on another track. All right, come back. I appreciate it. Okay, so when we are transforming into this abundance, natural abundance. That's where I was talking about trees, right? We talking about natural abundance. Okay, so natural abundance, we're talking about what happens naturally. How it does abundance show up in nature? How does it show up in the body? How does it show up in the cosmos? Right? At night, just look up. Can you count all the stars? And if you've ever been in a place where there is complete darkness, you will see how many stars there actually are. I mean, or that you'll have a better view. One of the places that I have seen the most stars ever in my life, I didn't even know the sky was that light, was when I was in Kenya. And I was on safari and I looked up and the sky was alive and moving. That's what it looked like. There were shooting stars all over the place. There was just all kinds of things going on. So, that's natural abundance, right? And what we hear is that we have trillions and trillions and whatever galaxies and solar systems and nebulas and known and unknown things out in the cosmos. And it just we keep getting more and more, right? In the body. I mean, how many neurons do we have? How many processes have been going on in our bodies while we have been sitting here listening or speaking? Trillions and quadrillions, right? None of them that are in our conscious control. And that's what we're going to be talking about today when we talk about this Skywalker, right? So, but that's natural. It's natural. Blood cells, right? If you run out of blood cells, that's okay. It's going to produce some more. If you have a scar, the body, it has enough blood cells to deal with that scar. Guess what it does? It starts producing new ones. So my perspective of what natural abundance is that it overproduces. outside. I talked about this all the time. Trees, the leaves on the trees, the branches, the fruit, the grass, if left alone, right? This earth we would have vines and algae growing on our houses, everything, right? It overproduces. So now what does that look like for us? Being the crowning achievement of creation. We are the crowning achievement of creation in this expression. I said this before. I know we look outside and we see beauty and nature and all of that stuff. I say, let's expand it and see beauty in each other, in our nature. What we are seeing, why we are so adverse to each other, including myself. I'm just a speaking to. One of the reasons that we are so adverse and combative with each other is because we have a false nature about us. Right? These thought forms create a program that says, this person, you're in danger with this person, you are in competition, you are combative, you have a conflict, you have fear, and you just go down the list. Right? It starts from childhood. If you think about children, for the most part, they don't care. You can have one eye over here and one over there, and they're just like, oh, look at this one eye over here and this one. And they, you know what I'm saying? It doesn't matter until somebody says, oh, well, that's ugly or that's deformed. Right? And then if it is, then you're supposed to be afraid of it or get away from it, or it's, you know what I mean? So what we're seeing, I say push past that and push into the true nature of who we're being, right? Which is divine, which is the beauty, the natural beauty, the natural beauty of a divine being, a creator on earth, is all of us. That's part of natural abundance. Having a abundance of love for your own species. Right? We look outside, we look at it, and we love this. We love pets. We love everything except each other. So as we go into this year of divine unity, that's a challenge for us to really find that divine beauty and that divine connection, just like the trees, with each other. It is, because, I know I'm talking to a bunch of loners on here, right? I'm talking to a bunch of black sheep. I'm talking to a bunch of people that are loners and black sheep amongst loners and black sheep. Right? Right. We'll get into a group of folks, like-minded folks, and then we'll find a way to isolate ourselves, right? I'm just telling my business, right? Telling my business. So when we are there, right? So this is a challenge. This is going to be a challenging year, or maybe let me not declare that. It may start off that way, but what I see is that, especially if we go through this year of divine unity, that we're going to come out in being something that we never could have imagined. That's what I believe. right? And that's how I'm going to go into it, right? And then, and deal with whatever I have to deal with internally myself. And, and we're going to move through this, right? And become this unity, a unified people. One of the things that we're always looking for, right, is unity, right? When we see all kinds of groups, right? We've probably been associated with all kinds of groups. And then what happens? There's internal struggles, right? People branch off, they do this or whatever. And a lot of times because there is no unity. So, when I was receiving the insight to go into this divine unity, I said, how can we do it? Like, and not, and we don't end up the same way. And maybe take a year to do it. Right? Take a year and see what happens. Right? And so when we go into this abundance, why am I talking about this? I know y'all know I do it all the time, right? I be all over here. Right? I'm talking about this so that we can truly transform and evolve into what we are all looking to become, right? On purpose, high frequency, divinity on earth, a full embodiment of the creator that we are, of the goddess that we are, of the God that we are, of source, whatever expression you use, right? That's what we're here for, right? And so how do we transform into that? Because remember, we are transforming we're transforming evolution. How does the blue night wave spell help us do that? Right? So let's talk about it. Right? One of the ways is through this archetype right here that says we dissolve in order to explore, releasing wakefulness. We seal the output of space with the spectral tone of liberation, and we're guided by our own power doubled. So this is the 11th archetype of this blue night wave spell. And as we say, each and every archetype in a wave spell has a significant role. There is not one role that's more significant than the other, right? Sometimes when these things are explained, they're explained from this lower, higher, two-dimensional way, right? That only, this is above that, or this is greater than that. For example, like let's go with the magnetic tone, right? Ken 183, right? So it's the magnetic tone. It's the one that pulls everything together for a particular purpose. But if Ken 189 was not there, then neither can Ken 183, because it's not magnetizing 13. It's missing 189, so it's off. Right? This is also the way that we explain, the chakras. The chakras are not explained in a hierarchy where everybody wants to be associated with the crown chakra. Right? The crown chakra is connected to the root chakra. You have to bring heaven to earth. And there's only one. And so it doesn't matter how much you can be in your head and how cosmic and etheric and all of this stuff is, that expression needs to show up here on earth. Right? So it's not a hierarchy like that. Every single archetype in a wave spell does not, all 260 are a direct expression of the creator. It's just how you, as the creator, came in your specialty. That's what I call them. To be that, to be the whole thing. You came in on this. So if you're Kin 193, you came in as the creator, the whole creator, not part of it. These are not parts. These are specialties of the creator. You came in as the whole thing, as source in the specialty of Kin 193. So source is here in wholeness, in completeness, as the red spectral Skywalker, being in the family of the wave spell of the Blue Knight, right? And operating in order to dissolve, in order to explore, releasing wakefulness, sealing in the output of space with the spectral tone of liberation and guided by their own power doubled. You can do that with each and every one of you. Right? Whatever your kin number is, you came in as the whole thing, the whole of source in your specialty. Now, we can say that's my perspective. But I think it's a good one, right? Because it has no limits. And it allows you to stop questioning if you can, or you know, whatever, how you're being evaluated. Well, I'm just this, so, right? Oh, must be true. Okay. So now, with this, right? So we're here on this spectral tone. Now, the way I explain the spectral tone is this is my perspective of the spectral tone, in using the whole wave spell, right? Because if you kind of walk down each of the archetype, am I frozen? You guys can still hear me, right? I just want to make sure. Can you hear me? Can you hear me? Okay, great. Okay. My camera. Okay. So, as we go down this, if we look at the wave spell in wholeness, right? 13 units. And starting with the magnetic, and I'm not going to go through each and every one, but I'll just mention, one thing about it, right? So this first one, this is the one that magnetized the whole energy, the whole frequency of what this Blue Knight wave spell is doing, right? It decided, it is the one that says, okay, let's unite. Okay, hear about this? Yeah, unity, right? Let's unite. Let's become one with our dreams. Remember, I just talking about the crown chakra and the root chakra, and how we have been teaching the chakra course where those two are connected. So let's unite with our dream state. So everything that we got up in them ethers, let's bring it into our intuition. Let's attract the inner, right, tuition, so that we can bring it into fruition in abundance, right? This is the Akasha. Everything that we can think about, gonna think about, finna about to be thinking about, or seeing, or in our dream state, we can bring it into abundance, right? And each of the archetypes have a role in that. They have a vibration and a frequency. They are not less than, They are just unified. Right? They are just being a unit, being in oneness. Because the first archetype says, let's unify. Let's be whole. Right? So all of the ones that are associated with it, all they're doing is coming into order and saying, okay, yeah, great. This is what I can do. Right? So then the seed comes in and says, hey, I'm gonna that's a great idea. I'm gonna check and make sure that as we are going into we are expressing our abundance, I'm gonna make sure that we can stabilize our awareness, keep our eye on the goal. That's what I'm gonna do. Because I'm good. You know what I'm saying? I'm God in this expression. And my specialty is to target awareness. So I'm going to make sure that's stabilized. The next one, right? The Kim 185, that's our sister Kaswana, right? Comes in and said, okay, well, when you do that, what I'm going to do to make sure that we hold this focus, because I'm life force. I am uniquely designed to be the force of life. Remember, we're bringing heaven to earth in full expression, and we're being in natural abundance. We're overproducing. So I know how to do that. No problem. I'm going to activate our mentality, which is super. Right? And then we're going to bond with those instincts. We're not thinking about it. We're bonding with the instincts of natural abundance. Right? Then Kim 186 is going, we know that there are thought forms and all kinds of stuff, like, that might get us popping our collar a couple of times and thinking that, this, that, and other. Let's go and see what the truth is. Let's go into this state of deathlessness. Right? Because this is what I do. I'm deaf, right? I'm good at it. I'm good at surrendering all things that are not true, that are illusion. I can go into any place in any state, because look at this abundance. Let's take a look at the opportunities that will allow us to overproduce. Right? I can determine the form of how that looks by going into this, looking underneath the hood and seeing what's really there. That's the surrendering. I'm good at it. Let's do it. Right? Let's define and measure what's really under here. Right? After we do that, then the blue hand says, yep, it's my turn. Okay. So my expression of the full, being the fullness of the creator, is that I command the healing. I command wholeness in this. Right? I make sure that we are in power of our knowledge. We're sitting in our seat of power, and we are empowered by that knowledge. And we know what to do with it to be whole. And literally we command it. That's how we are overproducing. Right? Commanding the wholeness of our knowledge. Right? And then the star comes in and says, hey, okay, so my role as the creator on earth is that this is the rhythmic star says, yeah, I bring balance to this beauty and art. I love the word that I heard Ambrosia use when she was doing the oracle reading, which is the grace. Being graceful in abundance, right? So this star is able to bring the balance of our art, the balance of who we are. We don't have to, go beyond this or whatever, but we are It is the art form of abundance. The natural art of abundance is to overproduce. And maybe we can create something beautiful with that. We have so much. There's so much more. We are not, here's something that you can remind yourself of. And I have to remind myself of this, a few times a day or plasma, is that you are not limited to what you have, what you owe, what you don't know, or what you know, right? Why am I saying that? Those are different. There may be things that, and we're going to talk about this in a minute, right? I don't really want to go off on it, but it came up. Right? Those are not your limitations. Those are, just call them items, conditions, things. Right? So if you're trying to figure something out, you're not limited by that. You're not limited by what you don't know. You're not limited by what you do know. You see what I'm saying? You can always go beyond. Those are not, well, I just don't know. I got to read this book. Okay, well, maybe you do, but you're not limited to that. There's always more. This is what abundance is telling. There's always more. We got to pay something. We need a certain amount of money, or we want it, or we don't know. Sometimes that is we allow those to be our limitations. But what if we just say we're in this state, no resistance, and resistance is futile, right? We don't need to resist that. Just say, okay, all right, I need this, I owe that, and I have this. That's not your limit, though. That's not where it stops. It can go beyond. There's an art to this. Why am I saying that? There's an art, and you can bring balance to the art of a natural abundance. That's what 188 says. That's my specialty. I show you how to make this look good, right? Then let's go 189, right? Is the one that holds the resonance of abundance. Doesn't make 189 the special one in the wave spell. That's just their specialty. Everybody got in here, right? And everyone is aligned in a certain order. They know what their position is, and they're fine with it because they are. They're not. It doesn't remove them from being God. This is how they decided to do it. They decided to come in as Kin 189 in the wave spell of the Blue Knight and be in that 7th position. Right? Not threatened or not, less than being in Kin 188. Because I said I made that look good, right? And Kin 189 don't say, ooh, I want to make it look good too. You got to be that one you are. And if you know that, you're solid in it. So there's no resistance, right? So Kin 189 comes in and say, well, what I do is I attune all of it. I make sure that this is pure, that is raw, that this natural abundance, this overproducing, right, is channeled through purity, through a pure mind space. So we can have universal flow. It's not going to flow if you're a wolf in sheep's clothing or sheep in wolf clothing. You got to be a wolf or a sheep or a duck or something else, whatever it is. It's going to be in the natural flow, because we can't make it flow with things that are not true to self. So it's my job. What I do with abundance is I make us attune to our natural frequencies, because that's where our natural flow is. And I channel that. I just keep channeling and channeling and channeling. I'm good at it. That's what I do. I'm 189, right? I'm pop my collar about that. Then 190 comes in and says, okay, yeah, 199. Come on now. Let me tell you what my specialty is. The creator on earth is. I'm 190. And the way I came in as a creator is through 190. And what I do is I make sure that everything that we talked about in that last wave spell, which was me, by the way, right? I make sure that we are in harmony with the truth that's in our hearts. And that we stay in the mode of this truth. That's what I do. That's my specialty. I make sure we stay in the mode of that, because we harmonize with our true love, the love that is in our hearts, and we model the loyalty, the law, right? That's what we do. And it's my specialty, right? I keep us going back to I keep the sustaining where we were when we were refining, so that we can transform. It's really important to me. I have integrity. That's what I do. So I'm gonna hold that's the spot I rock, right? Then we go to Kin 191, right? That's the perfect monkey. Well, I'm gonna say I got a whole bunch of things, right? This one, right? They say, well, my right is I perfect our joy. I perfect the playfulness of this, right? We're in abundance. We are in overproducing levels of consciousness, levels of bringing heaven to earth in whichever way that needs to happen. We're in the space of allowing so much more than we have ever expected to come in, right? That's what we're doing. Oh, and I'm back. So that's what we're doing. So we're in perfect joy with this abundance. So much that we're producing illusions, right? That are beneficial to our expression here on earth. Those thought forms that whisper in our ear and tell us to be, this, we're in danger, be fearful of this, watch out for that person, look out for that thing, right? We say shit, we gonna put our own stuff out here because we can play with this. We God on earth. Why are we worried, concerned? Why are we so resistant to connecting with like-minded people? Or we talking about overproducing anybody, like-minded or otherwise. Strange, we're adults and we still got stranger danger. I'm talking about me. Believe me. That's me. I remember when I went up to Philly for Brother Amun's solar return. This was last year. And that was the first time that I realized that I was like out. And I rode the train because I'm in the DC area, and I rode the train. And I was on the Amtrak train, and I had some fear. Like, I'm not used to having fear about anything. And I was like, oh my God, I'm on a train with people. Right? Like, and it tripped me out. And there was so many people. And I was like, man, because I'm used to being isolated in my own space. And I even create, here we go, playing with illusions, right? I will create situations. You guys have heard me talk about this for years, right? That I will create a situation where when I go into a place, right, even though I'm in the Washington, D.C. area, right? I've been here for 6 years now. Like, you know, one of the first things I noticed is like when I was going to the post office, I was like, oh Lord, there's too many people up in here. When I was in North Carolina, and it was like, so I started playing with these illusions, producing. This is how it looked, producing illusions. Like when I go into I'm not here to stand in line. You know what I'm saying? So I would produce an illusion that I would always line myself up with being there at a time where there wasn't a lot of people. And then I always notice that the line happens like as soon as I come in, then there's a whole lot of people coming behind me. And I said, whoo. So I've been noticing that for years. So I've created those beneficial illusions. But because I was doing it, right, I didn't realize that I've been isolating myself. And now through this year of unity, I'm releasing some of those things so that I can experience the natural beauty of us. I don't care who you are. We're all like trees, and we're connected at the metaphysical roots. And I'm going to allow it, even though it is not something that I have been, I've been experiencing the solo experience. And, not connected to the species, right? Okay, so then let's go. Where am I? Okay, that's monkey, right? And then my unique specialty, I'm the yellow human. Y'all know how I do, right? Oh, I'm sorry. You know what? I did the wrong one. 191. Why y'all ain't tell me? Somebody should have told me, right? 191 is the solar monkey. So that solar monkey realizes illusions, right? Sets the intention for this abundance, right? By creating those illusions that are beneficial, that work, so that we can bring the dream into reality, into our intuition, and fully experience it. Right? So it sets up those illusions so that we can move forward, right? Right? Because it pulses in order to play. It's still our joy. It's still our natural joy. It intends to enjoy this abundance. So it's setting it up, realizing our illusions, right? And maybe even realizing some delusions, right? We might have some delusions, but they say, play around with it. Overproduce, see what happens, see where it lands, and then set your intentions, right? And then we're going to bring it to 192, which is the planetary, right? The planetary human says, oh man, okay, I like this. All right. You know how them yellow humans are, right? They like influencing everything, right? So the yellow human says, I perfect. This is like perfect wisdom, perfect influence, the perfection of the will, right? That allows abundance to naturally flow, right? It says, I perfect in order to be in flow, to influence. I perfect my influence. Remember, the blue knight is input. It puts in abundance. So the yellow human says, okay, I got it. This is my role here as the whole creator and my expression, and I'm aligned in this order. I am the 10th one. And this is what I do. Right? I perfect abundance because I allowed the will to be free. I'm good at it because I know how to influence things through wise dominion. And I allow the will of this abundance to be free and go where it needs to go to transform our evolution. I'm so good at it. I produce wisdom. Right? So I'm not limited. Like I said, we're not limited to what we know, we don't know, have or don't have. Those are just conditions, but they are not limitations. Conditions do not equal limitations. Conditions do not equal limitations. Right? It's just a condition. There are no limits. Right? So then now we land here on Ken 193 that says, thank you for setting that up for me. Right? So that now we can go into how everything has been dissolved so we can awaken this abundance. So we can walk in the waking consciousness of this natural abundance, right? When something is dissolved, right, it's already solved. Again, like I said, when I used to talk about dissolved in the sense of breaking things up. Right. And that is a way to look at it. But as I started to evolve with these wave spells, use them as counselors, as we hear Brother Akil talk about, a new insight came in how to explain dissolve, explaining that 11th tone. If you explain it in conjunction with the wave spell in an order, right? So, oh, wait a minute, I went too fast. So we dissolve. So everything has already been dissolved. See, all 10 archetypes before that set it up so that it's already dissolved. So the 11th tone holds that position to liberate. Sometimes when we're explaining these things, we forget the whole of what that particular wave spell does. I always say this with the lunar tones and the spectral tones. Right? All of us have it, right? But it's something that needs to be remembered. When I talk about the lunar tone, why I talk about the lunar tone, right? Because the wind is the first lunar tone. So you always have to remember to stabilize what you pull apart. Right? I polarize. That's the second tone. So even with this, with the spectral tone, we dissolve. Right? The trick is it's already been dissolved because all 10 archetypes set it up that way. That's why you have the tone of perfection before you have dissolve, already solved. Right? So it's already solved. This archetype, this is my perspective, is holding the position of liberation, right? We dissolve. It's already been solved so that we can explore, so we can go beyond. It don't start all over when we get to the 11th tone and everything breaks apart. That makes no sense, right? It's already been solved so that we can explore, so that we can go beyond even the tone of perfection. How can we go beyond perfecting, producing, manifesting. Oh, so 193 said, let me show you how, right? It's already been dissolved so that we can explore. This is my specialty. 193, as the creator in wholeness with a particular solve, so we can explore the natural abundance of our waking consciousness. What do I mean by that, right? We in order to explore releasing wakefulness, the way I like to explain wakefulness is what you are aware of and can experience and express in the moment. Right? There's a difference between awareness and wakefulness. And okay, awareness means that you are aware of it. And the leaves are starting to fall. Right? If waking, being awakened to something means that I can now that I can because when we're talking about expression, we're talking about output. Right? I can interact with that tree, go up to that top and shake the fruit off of it, right? Or whatever, right? When we're in waking consciousness, it's not that, actually in waking consciousness, I have noticed that before. Now I notice it. Now I can say, oh, it's 2 big trees out there. I didn't even know that one was there. Wow. I have just been awakened to it. Right? The natural abundance of waking consciousness. We can interact with what we know and can implement. Sometimes right? And eventually you will. Eventually you will be able to implement it, right? We seal the output of space. This is why I'm saying you can interact with it. Output, expression, right? We are in full expression of going beyond our limits or what and that's why limits are in parentheses. It's in quotes. Because there really are no limits. It's just what we think. Like I said, if we just change our thinking, change around these thought forms, as we talked about, Dr. B. Serious in his course, and he's telling us about these systematic parasites that feed off of our anger, our fear, our doubts, our miscalculations, that conditions are limits. Have you ever observed yourself when you are looking for a solution to something, and then as you start to get close to it, then you get this thought that comes in about something that is unrelated, but it's something that makes you scared, angry, doubt, or whatever, and it might even take you totally off course from what you were just in the position of solving. Right? Y'all experience that? So those are those thought forms. You are moving out of the space of being conditioned to listen to them. Right? And to have everything aligned with what they're trying to feed. You're starving them. That's why that thought is coming in. That's why you get mad about your old relationship and your old job and what your mama did and your cousin and your friends at school. That's why certain situations start to remind you of what, and then you don't go back to solving. You don't go back to allowing things to already be dissolved, right? So when we're here, right, we're sealing the output of space. We are in full expression of going beyond the limits. So when that happens, be aware, be vigilant in that, and make sure you bring yourself back. Right. And, definitely check out Dr. B's series. This series, I think he's on the 4th class now. I have him. He has a whole system for how to get rid of those and stay in attunement so that you can have your mind free. So we can be in full expression, right? Without having to fight all the time to keep your senses going, right? We seal the output of space, right? We express going beyond our limits with the spectral tone of liberation so that we can free our thoughts, our natural thoughts, to be in alignment with natural abundance. Right? What if we actually did have full access to all of the knowledge of our unique expression as the creator on earth? What if we had the full access of Kin 193? Woo-wee. Fully liberated, fully free to be in that expression. I think it's interesting. I do think that, there will be less talking. I'm starting to find that there'll be less talking and more feeling. I know feelings are supposed to be bad. I think it'll be more feeling and less talking. That's how most stuff outside communicates, right? Telepathically. And what is that? That's a frequency. We all have a natural frequency that is associated with us, right? It's attached to our birth because we came in here. It is special to be source on earth in your unique expression, whether you know it or not. And many of us go into rest, not really realizing the specialty that we have and that we had, and that it was never intended to be lived individually. That is, it's intended to be joined again with the whole as a unit, while still, for example, I always look at the trees, right? The trees look different, right? It's a different tree on top, right? So it's not, we're afraid to lose individuality. But here's the thing. Let's take stars in the sky, right? You got all these stars. All those stars are connected. You know what's holding up the stars? Dark matter. The gravitational pull of a star is nothing. Gravity is held up by dark matter. It's all still connected, even though the illusion is that it's individual. And so, if we connect, if we keep our human connections going, I think we're going to be on to something. It's only one way to find out, right? We're going to find out. We have seen over and over again a whole bunch of singularities or individuals go into rest, and it hasn't shifted the unity of this planet. It hasn't shifted us into being in higher consciousness, higher evolution. That hasn't changed. So we have great ones. They have gone to rest, right? And we're still not unified. So maybe if we try to be unified, we can have this real liberation, the freedom of thought, right? Guided by our own power double, we're led to strengthen this natural frequency of our destiny, right? Why do I say that? Because the red spectral Skywalker is the prophet, and it sits in the seat of power in the court of prophecy. So what's prophecy? Information about your destiny, right? So the Skywalker channels accomplishment. So channels that blue hand. Remember that blue hand that empowered us to accomplish heaven on earth? Look at what the Skywalker does. Channels accomplishment. Channels that into our destiny so that we can be in waking consciousness. We are in full expression of who we are destined to be as the expression of the Creator. In our wholeness, whichever one we came through, pick one, right? The way that the Skywalker thinks, right, is through abundance. Look at that. Isn't that interesting? Through the blue night. That's the mind of the Skywalker. Is to go beyond, to overproduce, to have natural abundance in your destiny. Right? You can go beyond whatever you think of as a limit. That is not stop calling it a limit and call it a condition. You'll have a different experience with it. Right? And know, and not only that, but just know that you can always go beyond it. This way you're not resisting what is. Because sometimes I get, when people talk to me, they say, oh, man, how do you get there? How do you get to a point when you're not concerned about the bills you have to pay? You're not concerned about the problems you have with your relationship, the problems that you have on your job, the problems you have with your children. How do you go? Because it's a condition, not a limit. So you do not have to start there or operate from that position. Recognize it. No, so then that removes the resistance. Okay, I got this problem with this person on my job. And they always, starting stuff, and sometimes I can't help it. And I just gotta go off on them or how to avoid them or whatever. Right? That is a condition, not a limit. So then you can say, okay, well, that's the condition. What else do I have access to that's already solved? Because we talking about 193, the spectral Skywalker, that's already solved, so that I can explore a level of existence on this job beyond that. Tap right into the mind of the Akasha, which can overproduce different options for you. Okay, well, you can do this, that, this, whatever, all these different things, because you're not locking yourself into what the problem is, right? It's not a limit, right? The way that this archetype moves is through the star. And we know that the star is the artist, right? So there is a way in which our prophecy is aligned to, we came in. So what this is my plus, that we came in as the artist of whatever it is our destiny is. In the fullness, it's yellow, it's complete, it's whole. We have everything that we need right here, right now, to be in the full expression of our destiny, in beauty and elegance. And as I heard Ambrosia say, it's graceful. We can be graceful in our destiny, not stumbling over things, not trying to figure this out and, oh, I don't know, and blah, blah, blah. No, there's an art to this. There's an art to being in your destiny, to being a full expression of that consciousness, right? Then the way that we show up is through death, right? This is how death show up, through the Skywalker, through destiny. Always reminding us that if we stay in the space of surrendering to divine truth, right? That these opportunities, the opportunities that are aligned with our destiny, are always present. Remember, I said there's a frequency that we all came in here as. That's uniquely designed and assigned to us. As long as we stay in the rhythm. You know, when you're in that heart space, like I said, there's not a whole lot of thoughts. There's not a lot of thinking with that. But there is a rhythm. And we each have our own rhythm on the planet. This is why the new frequency says that we're in oneness, in divine unity and oneness on earth. Because there is a rhythm to that. There's a rhythm to being in that heart space that does align us with the truth about who we are. But we have to be willing to, you know, be on beat, be in harmony, be in the rhythm of what our true frequency is. And then we'll start seeing more and more of our destiny. And it's, let me tell you, in truthfulness, it's scary. It's kind of scary because the program says, I got to know what I'm doing. I got to know how it's going to happen. Right? So sometimes there is a fear, but if we're able to go beyond that, right? This word bridge is showing you, okay, well, you listen, every time we go into life force, we go into death. So you don't have nothing to be afraid of. Go on ahead and go into deathlessness and see what happens. See what happens when you don't know. Surrender to, I don't know. And let's see what happens. That's the world bridging. Let's see what happens when you don't know. You think you're gonna die? Okay, die. Right? in the spiritual sense. It's a surrendering. And let's find out. Let's look at the opportunities that happen when you do it. Because then you'll know what happens when you move past that. So that is all that I have for today. And so the question here is if we have awakened to this natural abundance, right? So this is no things. Definitely you guys have been hearing me talk about the unity. Definitely if you want to be a part of that movement. I don't think I have it on the website yet, but you can email me here and I will get you a copy of the ebook before we put it out. What we have been asking people to do is to just make a donation. You can Cash App us, and I'll put the Cash App information up here. Okay, I don't know. Brother Akil, if you can put my email, the Womb Evolution. Oh, there it is. Okay. If you want a copy of the 52 Acts of Unity, you want to cash app us at I'm sorry, I can't talk. Brother Kill, can you put it in? I can't talk and write at the same time. Okay, you can cash app us at $ Irvin Ma'at. Send your donation, and we will send you a copy of the manual. We are already in Act number 1, which is to decide how many people in this year you're going to be a beacon to. And what I recommend is 1. Right now, you're probably going to go beyond that, but start there. And it's not just a one and done thing. It's not one and done, right? This is to really get us into a space of unity, true unity, right? And we will, we're going to see. So definitely, let's start there, and then let's unify. We're going to have a lot of interaction this year as we go through this. It started out good too, right? We're gonna keep it going. We're gonna keep it flowing. So let's move forward. Oh, and it would help us. I know you guys are commenting here. After you get off, and I know Brother Kill is going to say this, part of this is to make sure that you like and you share, but you also, it helps our algorithm. It helps us get this out to more people. If you actually comment in there, like, great, this, whatever, this is what I learned, put a reflection in there or whatever. And then what happens is they'll start showing these videos after, like, sometimes it'll start showing up after Brother Rich or somebody like that, where there's a lot of viewers. If we want to get this information out to a lot of people, we do need to be on the algorithm. And of course, as you can see, we're not, right? So that's what helps us get on the algorithm is the comments, right? Not necessarily the live comments, but the comments that come after the video. All right. So you guys can help us by doing that as well. It definitely has been my honor and my pleasure. I love y'all. And I will see y'all on the next one. Hotep.
Gratitude, High Priestess. Excellent session. Yeah, everybody, like and subscribe, like she said, leave a comment, and have an amazing heptad. And yep, we catch y'all next session. Peace.
Immortal. Yeah. Came out the portal, immortal into a human body. I've been existing way before the earth had Anunnakis. Intergalactical battles, intergalactical travels, infinitely going through stars. The universe will unravel all of its secrets, peep it. I'm starting to leak it. Time for truth is coming 100, it's time to seek it. Expanding my perception through the spectrum of light. I'm going in with spectrum and the shit's out of sight. We indigo children, yeah, we building frequencies through the ceiling. Penetrating through reality, a marvelous feeling. Regardless, we're healing these humans that be claiming we demonic. The resonance goes over their heads, we super cosmic. The logic is ignorance mixed with fear in your thinking. My pineal gland is flooded, son, that shit don't be blinking. Sinking into your subconscious like a song with no words. The way I come up with these symbols of letters is absurd. Hey yo, my rhymes are like angelic beings. That shit is freeing, so pure that if you were born blind, I'll have you seeing. Breathing in a multi-dimensional light so captivating. Double helix is nonsense, so what I'm activating, feel the power from within, seeping right through my skin. From from the earth into my feet as it goes up to my chin. It got me grinning, rotation like spirals, my music spinning. I told you that I don't be playing, still I'm always winning. Fibonacci to the haters, curve them right to the side. They don't understand the energy, it comes from inside. So inside is what I master, used to be a disaster. Now I'm gladly elevating to a whole new chapter. Yeah, I'm giving birth to a whole new style. I incarnated through New York, yeah, I read Long Al. Don't get it twisted though, I'm truly repping this earth. I came to free all these humans and show you all what you're worth. Immortal. Yeah, raising your frequencies one soul at a time. As I pass this mic to my boy Spectrum, yo Spectrum, light that up, kid.
They tried to tell me I'm mortal, I told them I was immortal. They asked me what makes me different, I asked them what makes you normal. I just followed my morals and I unfollowed the formal. Hopped on a track with crews, now we straight cruising through portals. I download the Metatron, I'm reversing it till I'm dead and gone. If you think I'm dope, then you said it wrong. Not trying to flex, but I'm hella strong. Mine did things you never seen. When I say mine, you know what I mean. I'm the most when I'm in my mode, and y'all average is like the mean. I really didn't mean to go intervene. I'm the middleman chilling in between. You should do the math, we ain't keeping score. But I just hit a 3.14. I cook it up, make it look easy as pie. I'm moving in silence and seeing the sign. I am the G. If you remove me, all you gon' see is your sins. This is a big game of sins. The simulation is breaking again. I'm taking control, creating my soul. And if the truth fits, I'm breaking it in. Breaking it. All I really know is that I'll never know. I've been here for forever, don't know when to go. I think that indicates that I'm an indigo. In that case, I'm in the go. Green light, my heart, chakra booming. Solar plexus, Lexus zooming. You assuming that I'm human. I'm just being what you doing. I've been teaching teachers frequently. It's apparent I'm a parent when it comes to raising frequencies. The way I'm living life, I haven't rest in peace recently. Immortal with my technique, but my ego dying easily. Death is teasing me by leaving me with DMT. Now it seems to me that everything I see is seeing me. Life is just an infinite circle with a twist. I used to wanna be like them, now they do not exist.
Immortal.